Martin Atkinson, I think, has got the red card out. Well, that didn't last long.
It's Payet! He's done it!
One way of dealing with the situation. Maybe the fans are feeling something, and then the players can also feel that the fans are not weak there.
It's onside! Shaqiri! Oh, what a fantastic finish! On the feet around Old Trafford. Oh, goodness!
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Straight Red, where yellow means you floor it. I want to thank, firstly, all the listeners and feedback for episode 1. We had a great time making it, and I loved how everyone especially enjoyed all the Arsenal talk. It was great. I'm lying. Everyone enjoyed Arsenal being ripped apart. That's the feedback we got. And watching me squirm, you sickos. So, nevertheless, I appreciate all of you guys joining us. We've taken all the feedback on board, and you'll see incremental improvements, hopefully. But this is definitely the beginning of a beautiful friendship. All right, I've got the team sheet in today. With me are Wiss, Neil, Cass, and Mo. He wasn't going to be here. He was injured, but it was the last minute. We just put him on. Yeah. So why don't we kick off and have a quick recap of the weekend's notable matchups in today's post-match presser. The post-match presser, week 2, is overall a top weekend with some great expectations met, and it seemed overall that preparation was going to be the key to securing points. Boys, the weekend, how was it for you?
Pretty great.
Not that great.
Underwhelming.
Not that great?
Underwhelming for the Arsenal-Leicester game.
Why don't we start off, and what impressed me most, talking about preparation, and we'll talk about expectations being exceeded. What do you guys think of the Sunderland-Middlesbrough matchup there?
Well, I learned that that's a derby, and I did not know that before, so it's good. Brilliance of the Premier League and having these newly promoted clubs.
Keys where derby?
Yeah, I don't know. Middlesbrough looked great. Just the goals themselves were both brilliant. The Stuani, his first goal was pure magic. His second goal was brilliantly set up by Negredo. I mean, they look like a solid team that's not going to have any trouble hanging in the Premier League this year.
They had a plan. Yeah, well, they had a plan and they went for it. It's good. These northern derbies tend to be physical. A bit less heady than
punch horses up there.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, you got to watch out about those Newcastle fans if they ever get back to the Premier League.
Yeah. What about 2 for 2? Hull City beating Swansea away 2-0.
It's
exciting, but it's exciting stuff for the promoted teams like Middlesbrough and Hull City, but it's the season has just begun, you know.
Come on, they don't have a manager, only 13 fit players. You got to give them credit, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that takes some mental strength. It takes some unity there. I think it was a good showing.
Let's just see if they can maintain it, though. That's going to be the issue. Like you said, they have 13 good players, and then there's nobody else on the bench for them. So we'll see how long they can last.
And honestly, let's see how they fare against teams who are in the top half of the table before we make any long-term assessments, I guess.
Yeah.
Leicester.
It definitely looks like the relegation games will be just as exciting as the top 4 games or top 4 positions.
Sure. How about the riveting Leicester Arsenal matchup? What a great game that was, huh?
Snooze alert.
Didn't really even open up all that much, unfortunately. There were a few moments, but
Yeah.
honestly, nothing to write home about, except for that injury to Mendy.
That was heartbreaking to see Mendy do that. That did not look good.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, but overall, what I thought was a very routine performance. Both teams were cautious. They just lost the opening game. Leicester obviously first, Arsenal second. Talking about great expectations again. Leicester didn't get a shot on target until injury time. Arsenal were flying blanks and they couldn't finish. But it was great to see Ozil and Giroud. Their impact was evident as soon as they came on. But other than that, like you said, not a particularly interesting match to watch.
But Leicester does have that interesting new character on the team. From Russia, what's his name? He came on the field and he just like lit it up. I think it's going to be an exciting. It's been an exciting pickup for them. So hopefully he turns out to be a stronger player. He was a bit scrawny for the Premier League, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him.
Let's talk about how garbage Mark Clattenburg is for a second. That was the most ridiculous non-call of the weekend.
His jersey, the purple, love it. Outstanding.
I'm just glad.
I think you got to be pretty worried. I mean, Leicester, they're going to have a tough time staying in the Premier League this year, in my opinion. But there were moments where Vardy and Mahrez linked up that was very, very nostalgic from last year, and you kind of saw why, those players are so valuable and why it's so important that they didn't go to Arsenal. Great decision on their part, by the way. And yeah, the Musa call was, for me, really, really frustrating. I mean, I think that 9 times out of 10 at any other point on the pitch, if a player uses his body to, box out any defender behind him, that's his right of play to do that. He got clipped. That was an evident foul. And
that was a blatant dive. Clattenburg was amazing on that day. So let's. How about Liverpool? Let's talk about Burnley 2.
Let's talk about Liverpool.
Let's talk about Liverpool for a minute. What on earth happened? Was it Mane? Was it the lack of Mane?
It was the lack of defense. The same thing you saw
It's not
against
the lack of
Arsenal.
money.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
It was a nice record-breaking game for Liverpool. It was like 81% possession or 91% possession.
Yeah, 81%.
Very high.
Felt the burn.
Very high.
26 shots, 5 on goal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, right? It was I don't know what it was. I mean, I think defense, like most said, is going to continue to be the biggest area we have to fill. But we look good. We played good football. We just couldn't finish. And Sturridge is a big question mark for me right now. I don't know if he's the future of Liverpool, quite honestly. I'm not saying that based on just one performance, but time will tell, but he needs to step up in a big way for me to be convinced that he needs to be on our squad as the player that we build around. Because Mane is making a better case for that than he is at this point, right?
Fair enough. We'll leave it at that, and you've got Tottenham coming up this weekend. So let's see. That'll be a good matchup. Let's finish the segment, and I'd like to just get a quick rundown on the Premier League table and see how it looks this week. We've got a bunch of people who are pulling away. So City, United, Hull, and Chelsea, both up there. A little bit down the middle. Yep. Everton, Middlesbrough, Spurs, Burnley, West Brom, West Ham, Liverpool, and then Swansea. And then stuck in neutral, we've got Arsenal, Watford, Leicester, Southampton, and Stoke. And then right at the bottom with a completely dead battery is Sunderland, Palace, and Bournemouth. As far as the movement goes, moving up are City, Hull, Everton, Middlesbrough, Spurs, Burnley, and West Ham. Sliding down were United, Chelsea, West Brom, Liverpool, Swansea, Watford, Leicester, Southampton, Stoke, and Sunderland. And there are only 3 teams this week who didn't move at all. And that was Arsenal, Palace, and Bournemouth. With that said, let's move on to the next segment. It's time for the ref report, where we leave no stone unturned unless it's really, really, really heavy. As the summer transfer window comes to a close, we squint our eyes a little bit and gaze fondly through it to see who's earning their keep and who's been nicking a living. Fellas, let's talk about who came in and who is doing well and who's not. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
That's you,
look at
Cass.
Zlatan. I mean, he's immediately apparent, making the big impact in both games, scoring in both games, 2 goals over the weekend. Fantastic header.
Both teams that don't really matter, though. Let's be honest. Let's wait until they play someone that's a little bit better before we start saying he's godly.
Well, you still have to look at it, because if you play a team, regardless of who they are, some players don't score against those kinds of teams. So, Zlatan has the consistency to score in both games and the Community Shield. So, that's 3 games in a row.
So in that respect, strictly speaking, you bring a player in to score goals, and he's scoring goals.
He's doing the business, as they say.
He's doing it.
You don't mess with a Zlatan, and the Premier League has a superstar. I mean, not to say they didn't have a superstar before, but Zlatan is Messi, Ronaldo. He's up there. And
did you feel that teams were standoffish? Did they put him on a pedestal? I didn't think so. I didn't think they really did that.
Not at all. But I mean, he
I
plays.
just don't think they realize how good he is.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
He is a direct attacker. He's kind of like your defensive. He's not the kind of guy that plays defense a lot, but he's just like, he does what he's paid to do. That is stand there, get the balls in the back of the net. So he's a pure out-and-out shooter, and he's doing a good job at it.
And he's already got the respect of his entire team. I mean, Rooney's not stepping up for the PKs. It's Zlatan who's the man that's taking them. I think that says a lot, given that he's been there for, 3 total matches so far? And already, he is the man on the pitch.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Was that Pogba or was that Zlatan? I'm sure you've seen all the what is it? The Snapchat? Is that what it was? Yes. They seem to have a really, really great relationship, which I'm slightly jealous of, right?
Yeah, even the post-game interview. Did you see them during that? They're just laughing it up.
They're loving it. They're loving it, and
when things are good, it's easy. But when you start losing, things may unravel. So we'll see.
Okay, they could be bipolar. That's true. Yeah.
But I want to see when they start crumbling. What is the team
when? Which says when?
Who is it crumble with?
It's gonna start with Mata. It's gonna be issues with Mata and Mourinho. It's inevitable, and then we'll see, man.
Mata's looked good when he's been on the pitch so far.
Didn't he get a pat on the back from the boss?
He did.
A little bit of a hug You think that was just for show then? And then they fight it out in the locker room? I don't know. Mo, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this transfer window? Winners, losers?
Honestly, Musa, man, like I said last week, he's been looking good.
You love him.
I do. I think he earned the PK too. I'm going to agree with Neil on this one.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that was definitely a PK. Klanberg messed up on that.
I'm gonna disagree, but
we can go back and watch the tape later. But
I'm like, what foul were you watching? That was so obvious.
You're clearly not biased, Wissam.
Yeah.
Objectively, I like Wiss. He's very objective about his things.
Hector was running straight, and Musa ran in front of him.
It doesn't matter. That's a part of the game. He ran in front
of him, but Hector didn't clip him.
Every time a player runs in front of a defender and gets clipped from behind, it's a foul.
Klanberg, he saw straight through it.
He fell down.
Yeah. But you notice Musa's creating plays on himself. He's kind of helping the team right now. Vardy's not stepping up, and he's stepping up and trying to make things happen. And I think he's going to actually be very helpful, during the season, so.
He was very good. He was very good.
He's the man to watch for me.
I like their team chemistry too.
Yeah.
You know, as far as value for money, I would say Nolito is looking very good. He was only
Man City player fan talking about value for money.
Hey, let
me drop like $30 million on Nolito and tell you value on money. That is not value on money.
13. Correction, 13.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a huge difference. He costs less than Musa.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay, obviously, we spend a lot when it happens, but Nolito only 13 million. He scored, over the weekend. He set up some goals in the Champions League. Scored in the Champions League.
Yeah, but
he's got a good rapport going with Aguero right now. I like what's happening there.
So what happened to Negredo then? He was doing good with City. Why'd you guys get rid of him? Right?
So with him, if I remember correctly, he injured himself in the season, and when he came back, he went scoreless for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Okay.
He kind of lost his confidence.
Well, he's getting him back now.
And then they try to replace him with Bonnie, but that didn't work out very well.
No, Bonnie, though, that's a value for money, Kaz.
Hey, man, at least we try. We try.
At least they're spending money.
I will admit, it hasn't been a great transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no repercussion, there's no accountability, so, it's like, whatever. You just keep him there on the side. It's fine.
How about
yours? It's not like it hits your salary cap.
Is Gundogan gonna get any playing time? Is he healthy?
No,
his knee is injured.
Yeah, he's not healthy.
He just started practicing with the first team, though. So
yeah.
He's getting match fit. Sané just started practicing with the team. Company just started practicing again. They're short of full match fitness, but
that's who I want. Soon. Yeah, I want to see Sané on the field. I'm excited about him. I know everybody thinks he's not going to really do much this year, and I honestly don't think he will either. But if you watched him when he was in Germany, I mean, he has got all the tools of the trade, right? And so I'm just excited to see him play.
No, we just threw a lot of money for him for no reason because he's not very good.
Yeah.
I mean, probably there's a reason. We'll see if he lives up to that price tag, but
he's got cool hair.
And he's young.
That's something.
He's very young.
Yeah, he's very young.
Winners and losers, yeah. I mean, you can't argue with statistics, right? Pogba, even if he hasn't got as many goals, he's got a real positive impact and cannot defy Zlatan. I gave him a red card last week, but that's probably because I'm a bit jealous. But he does his job. He's bringing the team together. We've been talking about the heads butting, but it doesn't seem like him, Rooney, Mata, Jose doesn't seem like they're butting heads yet. But it's good. It's good for morale when you beat teams. It doesn't matter if they're the bottom of the table. It doesn't matter where they are when you beat teams. So those two have had massive impacts, and we'll see what the rest of the guys do. What do you think? I mean, before I bring on another subject, I just want to hear what Neil. What about you? What do you think about all this stuff going on?
Yeah. I'll start with Liverpool first. Mane. No, I mean Mane. I think has been the best signing of the transfer window for any team. So.
Obviously.
I mean that. No. Look, we can see there is a clear difference in our ability to score with him off the pitch, and then if you look at his impact immediately in the Capital One Cup, I mean, there's a significant difference of being able to create chances for our strikers when he's on the pitch, and when he's not on the pitch, it's felt, and we do things like we did against Burnley where we waste 80% of possession on a 2-0 draw. I mean 2-0 loss. So that's unacceptable. He's a key player on our team, and I think he can have a breakout season. I also really like Negredo. Excellent pickup from Middlesbrough, has had a positive impact on the players around him. He's linked to the goals they score. His assist on Stuani's second goal was just classy to the max. I mean, the cutback was nice. The pass, he could have easily scored himself, but I mean he set it up for Stuani and got the guaranteed result. He's probably, he's arguably up there, I think, with Mane and some of the other players we've talked about as being one of the top signings so far.
Well, and was it yesterday?
Talk to me about him playing in the League Cup.
Oh man!
Tell me how you feel about that.
Oh man! Okay, it's like we won 5-0, but at the end of the day, every other team in the Premier League was playing their B squad, and here we were playing our 100, like our A team. I mean, Sturridge was on the pitch, Mane was on the pitch.
Emre Can, he got a bit of a nick.
He was on the pitch and he got a knock, which is
he did.
Exactly why you don't play stars in the Capital One Cup. It makes me so mad. But
what was Klopp?
He got the win.
What do you think was going through Klopp's head then? What was behind all that?
I think you just need to send a signal that you can score against second-tier teams when all engines are running. I mean, we suffered a bad loss the week before. I think he just wanted to send a signal to everybody that, hey, we still got the goods. But it was a risky move, and I wasn't a fan of it ultimately at the end.
It was more of an ego stroke, maybe, get the guys fired up again.
Yeah. What about losers? Who are the biggest losers so far of the transfer window?
You have to say Arsenal. They're left at the altar again.
Hey, the window is not closed yet. We are not losers.
Hold on.
So far,
we haven't signed anyone. Just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax.
So what about player? Who's your loser for the season so far?
It's pretty early to say who's a loser. I mean, you want to say maybe Ayew? He's injured for 4 months, and he costs West Ham quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
That's a huge loss for them.
Benteke?
I'm going to say...
that was a hefty price to pay.
I'm going to say...
Unreal.
Yeah, we made all our money back. That's amazing.
How did you pull that off? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I have no idea.
I'm going to say John Stones is a big loser.
Yeah?
Come on.
Why?
Yeah.
He's playing every match.
I don't agree with that.
$50 million for a defender is ridiculous. Is an absurd amount. And going off of where John Stones is coming from, Everton, I think Everton is actually one of the biggest winners of this transfer market. They got rid of Stones. They brought in Ashley Williams.
Ashley Williams, good.
For like $12 million. That's nothing. As of yet, they still have Lukaku, which, I mean, the longer they hold on to him, the better. But most likely he might end up leaving. But if they can hold on to him for another season or two, they've got a good attack so far. They up their defense with an experienced Premier League defender, and the fact that they have a great coach in Koeman, I think so far it's looking optimistic for them.
Yeah.
But in regards to losing, John Stones is overpriced, young kid, but way overpriced. I don't think he's worth the money. I think a lot more expectations are on him.
It's
he's
too
going
early
to
to say he's a loser.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just following the trend that has been set with what's his name, Luke Shaw. Man U bought him like $30 million. This was a $30 million purchase defender, similar age, I guess. I don't remember.
Yeah, Luke Shaw's a fullback. I would never pay £50 million for a fullback.
Again, at the end of the day, it's a defensive player that never really lived up to expectations. And
Well,
I don't see paying that much.
Alaba, but never mind. Different point. Yeah.
But why would he pay so much for a defender? That was my reason for giving him saying he's a loser.
Because Chelsea defensive minded, that's why. Conte's coming in to set up a defense and then build the team up. So if he can get it, he's got the money, why not spend $50 million? Look at us, we have to play with holding now because Chambers sucks, Purr's out. We have the money, but we're not using it. So they're better off than we are right now. I'm gonna give it to them.
It's true, but I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it.
Look, you could have had Williams. You could have had Dante. You could have tried to get Benatia. How many of these guys are you going to let slip through your fingers? And you got Holding instead. I mean, I know $2 million is a bargain, and he might eventually become a great player. But what about for this season? Do we just want to write it up as a loss? I mean, you can't just wait till everyone gets healthy. The season's already a quarter way through.
Let's set the record straight. So I spoke to Austin, and he told me that the board they blocked the Griezmann move. So I think there's plenty of this stuff going on. There's a huge disconnect, and we're back to Arsenal. It seems there's a massive disconnect, and it just seems as though Arsene is willing to take the hit for both the players and the board, but. Sidestep it a little bit. Okay, let's not focus on Arsenal. We've got this huge amount of money, and there was a great article that I read, and I think it was written by Arsblog. And what he talks about is the knock-on effect of all this money coming in. So it's effectively putting the Premier League in a bubble. What do you guys think about the idea that if you have a fresh player, brand new, he's very good, and he comes over from Europe, and he's in the Premier League, and he starts at a salary of 50, 70, 80,000 pounds a week, right? What's the knock-on effect of that? Who is going to be able to afford him when he's 25, 26, and he wants 150,000 pounds? Where's he going to go? How is this going to work? What's going to happen to the league in the long run? Is anyone going to accept a lower wage? I don't think the trend shows that might be the case. I mean, who's going to be able to afford these guys? And are you just going to be left with a bench? I mean, is there going to be a team where people go to retire, like a graveyard? Like is City with their bottomless pit of money, and maybe Barca or a couple of other teams, are they going to be willing to buy up all these players because they can afford to give them the salaries? What's going on here? Where does it end?
Yeah, I think it's already happening now with Theo. He's $140 million, and
I'm not paying £140,000 for Theo. If I'm another club, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, we can't even loan him out, because if we're gonna try to split this fee with someone, we're gonna be paying most of it just to have him go and play and probably get injured, and it's just a cost of money right now.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of players don't want to go elsewhere with less wages. They'd rather sit on the bench and get paid.
I think Mo had also mentioned that's probably why Joel Campbell got pushed out to Sporting Lisbon. I mean, statistically, Joel Campbell is a much better player than Theo Walcott.
At least as good. Let's say at least as good, right?
At least
in a worst case. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
At least it's comparable. But at the end of the day, no one's going to pay $70K per week if you split 140 for Theo Walcott. That's way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the direction this entire money game is headed is the fact that the teams with the bigger wallets are going to have the bigger squads, the better team. It's just inevitable. So, I mean, it's a huge balloon effect.
This has been the case not just this year. I mean, the fact is that even years past, teams with the bigger budgets have been able to sign the better players. I just think that now more teams with more money. For me, the thing that I don't like about all the money in the Premier League is that it's taking away the value of playing for a club based on history, reputation, the value of winning for your fans. I mean, let's go back to Arsenal again. I mean, you're talking about an established, respected club in the Premier League, and they're getting they're losing out on players just because they want to get paid. Like, that's not what you want as a club, and that's not the value system that RC and then the franchise have tried to build. And it's just, I don't like what it's doing, and I don't like the motivations it's giving the players. It's just, it's too much. It's too much.
I remember when Champions League actually meant something. Now it doesn't even matter if you're in a Champions League team or not. If you got the money.
Let me play devil's advocate real quickly. So if you look, it was always like, a top four consistent teams, right? Now you have a lot of money in the Premier League, and you have other teams not taking points off the top four. You have things shaken up. So teams like West Ham, who could never afford those top players, are now paying for them, and it's making things more interesting. How could you say that I mean, looking at it from a club's perspective, you might say, okay, this sucks, but that's looking at it from strictly an Arsenal perspective, or a Liverpool perspective, or a Manchester United perspective. Teams that traditionally are a top 4 team vying for the title. Now you have teams like Leicester coming in, and some of that has to do with the fact that TV money helped them afford some better players.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think it's necessarily all a bad thing.
That's a really good point.
One thing I do think is ridiculous, though, is how high the prices are.
Yeah.
But that will settle itself out over time, I think. I don't think that's going to maintain forever.
What will be the catalyst to bring it back down? I think, Cass, that's an awesome point. I mean, we talk amongst ourselves about what it used to be. We talk about the old guys. We talk about the classic players who love playing for the game. And yeah, they're about to make money, but they work their way up the ladder and they earn it, right? I agree. It's awesome to see the Hulls. It's awesome to see, Middlesbrough, all these teams who are kind of able to compete now. We saw a push from West Ham last season, and the season before that, you see Stoke up in the top 4 at the beginning of the season. Yeah, they don't have the depth or the consistency to pull it through to the win. We saw Leicester, but points, it was very, very close between each of the positions. So, yeah, in that respect, yeah, I agree. It's a good thing,
The overall theme, I think, for the teams that have been successful, or the trend it's going to, is the fact that eventually more and more teams will be relying heavily on foreign investment. If you don't, you look at externally outside the Premier League, the Chinese Super League is pulling players. They pull, like, for example, off the top of my head, Jackson Martinez. At one point in time, he was a blazing superstar. He was like a huge Portuguese goal-scoring talent in the Portuguese league. So what happened? He got paid, or he got offered an absurd amount of money. He went over there. The problem with the Premier League is that, yeah, eventually they will hit a cap. Not everyone is going to be a Wayne Rooney getting paid 250 or 300K, and what's going to happen is that they're going to try and either do what Man United did, go public, try to raise more funds, or at the same time bring in foreign money.
I had a thought, guys. Okay, it didn't hurt, and I was thinking, as a fan, let's say we as a fan, we go to the games, we buy the tickets, and we're all paying these extortionate prices, especially as an Arsenal fan, right? So what do? We come together and we voice our opinion. We voice our dissent in whatever way, and to some extent it has an effect. But you get that opinion out there that we do not like what's going on. Why don't managers, other than Arsenal, obviously, why don't managers come down, and why don't they have not a union, but why don't they come together and say, look, guys, this is out of control. You're asking all these prices. I know they have unlimited funds, or some of them do, or have a lot more money. So why aren't they getting together and controlling this bubble that's growing? Do you feel like they have any responsibility at all, or not? No?
I think it's job security for them to do what they're supposed to do, which is win games. I think that you can't compete when you don't spend wisely. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. Obviously, there are teams that have success, like Leicester. But, more and more you're going to see guys, if they refuse to spend, if they don't get the results, they're out of a job. Job security is a big thing. Managers can get together, but there's no union. It's very hard to do. It's not like you have a collective bargaining agreement like in U.S. sports.
They all report to their board of directors, and I mean, the board of directors are A, in it for the money, and B, for their reputation. And you're only going to get both by winning. So I don't think
I'll tell you what,
they really care about how you spend the money.
The guys who own these teams, they wouldn't be doing it if they're losing money on it. So obviously that's not happening here. So like even Abramovich, who spends a lot of money for Chelsea, it's obviously lucrative for him. Otherwise he wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Unless you might think it's a rich person's play toy by having a soccer team. Sometimes people have that for the opulence, to show off their vast wealth. But I think Chelsea is pretty lucrative for him.
What if we got a kickback every time we bought a ticket to the game? I'm sure a manager gets what, 1%, 2% of a transfer? We should get a little bit of that action. That'd be good. I wouldn't complain then.
I mean, you look at some of the money that these agents make. It's pretty crazy. Like Mino Raiola.
Jesus.
Or
you made 20%.
You
made 20% off of that sale. That doesn't make any sense. You just need one player and you're a multi-millionaire in one trade. Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mino Raiola.
He made 20 million.
Ibrahimovic, Pogba, Balotelli. Who else does he have? He represents pretty much every single badass players on the planet. That they're his clients.
What about
his client too?
Mendes? I was going to say Mendes. He's got Ronaldo, Costa, Rodriguez, De Gea, and he's pulling in these ridiculous amounts, and I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
It's good money. Good money.
We're in the wrong business.
Seriously, we should have all become agents.
Call me. I can be an agent. Call me.
Look, one Pogba sale, we're all set. All of us.
I'll quit. That's it. Retire.
Seriously.
Let's start DMing some of these players, see what we can get.
Yeah. But going back to our older discussion about just the impact of money on the Premier League, I just feel like, I think most of us are probably old school in how we view the sport and why we love our clubs. I mean, it's not about the money. It's never been about the money, right? It's about culture, history, family, fans. It's all these good, true, wholesome values.
Yeah.
And when money becomes the driving factor or motivation for any sport, for any pursuit, it changes the dynamic completely. Not just for the players or the management, but it's also for the fans, right? I mean, you want players to come play for your club because they love your club. They want your club to succeed and they want to win with your club. You don't want players, in my opinion, I'm speaking for myself here, I don't want players coming to Pool because they're getting a fat paycheck. I want these players to come to my club because they believe in the mission, the coach, the fans, like they want to win for the club and for themselves, not just for the paycheck. And so it rubs me the wrong way. But I agree with your point completely, Cass. I mean, there are positive impacts to the money. It's good to see clubs that never would have had a chance at competing at the top level compete. But it's not all good, and it's definitely not all bad.
And guys, maybe those teams, okay, we use West Ham as an example, okay, they don't have this history, they don't have this legacy, they don't have all this success behind them, right? So maybe this is a transition phase where they still have this hunger, this desire. But I would guarantee, I'm pretty sure, right, that let's say you give them a couple of more seasons, more and more money pouring in, and there's going to be a threshold. Okay, you don't have to be a $10 billion company, but maybe let's say once you become 500 million or whatever the number is, I think every team is going to get to that point where it's all about the money. It's not about these nostalgic things that you and I are talking about. Here's another question then, right? So there's all this money coming in. Let's say we accept it. Has the quality of the game, has it got any better? Is it the same? Was it better before? In what ways? How is it worse now? Are you seeing really, really good football out there? What's changed?
In America, I can see it live. I can tell you that 10 years ago it wasn't very easy to do that. And
sure.
That's because there's more money in it.
Sure.
As an American fan, I'm really happy with the extra money because it means I can watch any Premier League game I want, either on my tablet, on my phone, on NBC. When was that possible 10 years ago? And inevitably that has to do with, they paid $250 million or whatever for that contract. It's something that happens because they see there's a market for it. If it weren't for us and the advertisement dollars, we wouldn't even be getting this content, which is, what we love to watch. They used to, 15 years ago, you used to have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the one early game on ESPN or some weird channel, and that was it. Everything else would have to be. They didn't even have YouTube back then, so how else are you going to watch it?
Memories, and now you can get a pirate HD stream. Like you can get that anymore. So there we go. Before we all get arrested, let's move on to our final segment. A straight red. This week's unacceptable, inexcusable, immediately punishable offences. Let's start with you, Cass. Who gets your straight red this week?
For me, there are two people, and it has to do with the Olympics. You got to give one to Ryan Lochte. Number one.
Straight. Give him two.
French word for shower. Huh? Straight red. Use all those sponsors.
A particular kind of shower, right, Cash?
Yeah, exactly. And the other one, I gotta give two because I think it's connected. But Hope Solo, she gets a straight red for me too. How can you say those kinds of things?
6 months.
6 months suspension, fully deserved.
Good.
Is that more of a slap on the wrist then, or what is that? What's 6 months? What does that do?
For an international career, it's not very much, probably. Especially if it's not a World Cup cycle right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a nice gesture, at least, to say that, hey, we're not going to put up with these kind of comments.
And that's how I took it too. Yeah.
But Lochte one was pretty serious. That's a lot of money he lost and left on the table. Can't imagine he has a lot of earning opportunities later in his life.
Silly boy. Good red card.
Double red.
Right. I'm going to jump in now. There's something that's been really bothering me this week, and it's important that I think that we need to talk about it. And my red card goes to FIFA 17. It's disgusting.
What?
How can Bellerin, right, get a 77?
Yeah, I don't get it.
77. Red, you're off. Get off.
Wait, are you saying it's too high or too low?
It's way too low. Look at this guy. You get a red card, Neil. too high.
Seems about right to me. I mean, I don't know.
Good grief.
80 maybe in FIFA, but 70, yeah.
77.
These Arsenal fans right now.
They've got Gabriel.
77 is a good rating for Bellin.
Yeah.
But they got. Wow, they got Gabriel at 78. Huh? What? This is obviously a Liverpool supporter who's working for FIFA.
That's a more offensive rating than Bellerin. Gabriel should be at a 78.
Yeah, it should be that. Let's be honest.
That's disgusting. All right, so that's my red. Matt's not here. Mo.
Mine goes to Diego Costa for his horrible dive. It was just a horrible. I don't even know how he got away with it.
Yeah, well, you're going to run out of those red cards, Mo. You're going to run out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, look just like that. And that pretty much won them the game. If he got the red there, they were down 1-0.
They were down.
Who deserves it more, the ref or Costa?
Costa. That was just a horrible dive. He literally didn't even get touched.
And he's a pro. He's a pro. He knows where to do it, how to do it, when to do it. Totally.
Yeah, but I'll give it to the ref too. Like you're either gonna call the foul.
Yeah.
You gotta call the foul, or you gotta give a yellow for simulation, and he did neither.
He did neither.
And freaking Fabregas had then given the ball to Costa, having them win again.
2 weeks in a row.
Freaking, it's just yeah. I was just.
That was a great goal though. I mean, from start to finish, that was a great goal.
Great goal, but it should have never happened.
Yeah, it should have never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tucked it under the keeper.
I think he's making the case for why he did. Really.
Yeah.
That was Batshuayi, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Batshuayi.
That's my new word for crazy.
Yeah. And Conte then they asked him about it, and he kind of just ignored it. He didn't even, try to answer it. He knew. He knew that was.
He said, "Yeah, let's talk about the game." Yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah. Because that's clearly not part of the game.
Unbelievable.
I to talk about this.
Yeah. That was the theme, right? Even Let's not go back to Arsenal. Go on, Neil. Neil, who are you going to give your red card to, mate?
I got a few on my list that I was thinking about. First,
you just hate everyone.
I'm gonna give it to Clattenburg, guys. Guy's a joke.
Beautiful.
He was outstanding.
It should have been a 1-0 game. Arsenal deserved to lose. Leicester was a better team that match. Clattenburg is out of line. Out of line. It's the Liverpool defense.
Yeah, he should have got that one.
There are too many Arsenal fans on one podcast.
We're surrounded, Neil.
We have to balance. We need testosterone, you know. Unbelievable. Yeah, fair enough. And then I think did you give the whole of the Liverpool squad a red card?
Yeah.
They shouldn't have bothered.
No.
They shouldn't have bothered coming, should they?
I'll give it to the defense. I mean, I don't want to blame just one individual. I know Klein turned over the ball, which led to a great goal by Vokes.
Fantastic goal, that.
Goal was awesome.
But
class. That was world class.
Why did Klopp put Moreno in?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Why did he
didn't make a difference at that point. I mean, it was a frustrating match. The whole defense looks suspect. We gotta tighten up in the back and play better on the counter. So I'll give it to the Liverpool back line.
Fair enough.
Any
Fair
words
enough.
for Moreno, your favorite?
Just get out of there, man. Just get out of there. Get a haircut. Move back to Spain. Stop screwing up my team, man. Screwing up my team. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Wiss, you got the last final red card of the segment in this week's show. Who are you going to give it to?
I'm going to do what refs in 2 games were not able to do, and that is the same thing as Mo. Give Diego Costa a red card.
Good man.
I'm going to say this. He is quite possibly one of the most entertaining players to watch in the Premier League right now. That being said,
doesn't make it right.
He's a complete animal. There's being entertaining, being a likable guy, there's being a sportsman, and he is just everywhere, all over the place. You cannot be the most hated player and the most liked player at all times. The refs need to lay down the law, give him a red in one of these games, put him in his place. How many more games is he going to be pulling this bullshit and just like passing on by, and we keep discussing it over and over, like, oh, was that a goal? Was that not a goal?
When do we play them? What is it? Yeah, a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, fair enough. All right, look, we are running out of time, and on note, that's it. That's it for this week's show. I've had enough. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and listening and putting up with them lot. Please do all the liking and commenting and all the sharing stuff. It's really appreciated. Until next time, then, you think it's all over? Well, it is now. Cheers.